All right, here we are on this Monday morning. Just I want to verify that you guys can hear me, that the audio is okay, and if so, then great. All right, y'all, let's do this. I really need to fix the countdown clock. What happened was I deleted the file by accident, and I have to create a new file. So here we are at the charts, and man, some crazy stuff, right? What I want to do in this stream is I want to just mark our levels and then come up with some nice juicy potential swing longs that we can take, because obviously after we have had a massive downtrend like this, since our all-time high, we've pretty much been in a downtrend. This is the daily time frame. So we have our high, and then we have the lower low, the lower high, the lower low, the lower high, the lower low, the lower high. And it looks like we are forming a bottom here, guys. And, I want to talk about, before we get into this, are we at the bottom? That's the question on everybody's mind. Are we at the bottom, or do we come down a little bit lower? I would just say, objectively looking at this, it seems to me that we're very close. If this is not, this could potentially have been the bottom right down here at this 29K level. This potentially could have been the bottom, but there also is the potential that we could come down a little lower. I want to talk about this this green diamond here that is printing on the CryptoVac A indicator. Okay, this is an indicator that I use from time to time. And if we go back to the previous bull market on the daily time frame, we can see that after we get a massive dump, right? Where's the previous bull market? Right here. Get the massive dump, the money flow curves into the red on the daily time frame. Okay, and remember, we stay in this bear market, right, for quite some time. However, when we do print this green diamond, it means we are going to get like a significant move to the upside. In fact, every time we print one of these green diamonds on the daily time frame, it really means we are going to get a significant move to the upside. And right now we're currently printing one of those diamonds on the daily time frame right now. Just something to keep in mind. Just something to keep in mind. Right now, things are, you know, okay. Well, let's do our technical analysis, and then we will discuss what exactly is the most probable outcome given our technical analysis. So let's start on our weekly time frame. Okay, and we're just going to mark out some of these key levels right here. So on the weekly time frame, we can see that we actually right now are running into a resistance. Our $38,000 resistance, you could say that this is actually a weekly level because we have a candle coming down to here, wicking right down to this level. These two candle bodies are opening and closing right here. We have a wick right up to this level, although it's not necessarily perfectly on the candle bodies closing. We can recognize the fact that this is a level of resistance that we're currently running up against. Okay, we're currently running up against that level, and then we still really just have the same levels that we had from last week. So we have, you know, the low of the dump that we just had right here. We have the $35,000 level is still a powerful level that we need to keep our eyes on. We have the $45,000 level. We have the $48,200 level, which is a massive resistance right here. Then we have the 26.1, which is the 618 of the whole run. So these levels that I have right here are still, because really we haven't in the past week, since the last time we did this stream, we've been trading within this this little range right here. We haven't moved out of that, and so because of that, you know, we don't really need to mark any new levels. Let's take a look at some volume and see if we can mark any other levels. Something that sticks out to me on the weekly time frame right here is this level down here at 23,165. If you guys can see, there's actually a high volume node right here. And if we go to the daily time frame as well, we can see that the $23,000 level is a daily level right here. So let's make that orange and make that our daily. So there's a lot of confluence down here at the 22.7 to $23,100 level because it's a daily level of support. It is a high volume node, and let's actually pull out our fib from the Corona dump and just see if that's any kind of fib level. If we pull out the fib from the Corona dump, nope, not any kind of fib level at all. Neither is the fib from the November dump. However, it's important to notice that the $26,000 level is a Fibonacci level, the 0.786 from the November dump that we had. And that November dump was right here. You can see where we just dumped down a little bit right here. So I pulled the fib from that November dump to the all-time high. And so we are getting some confluence at this $26,000 level, as well as this $23,000 level. Now it's important also to take note of the fact that this range that we were trading in back in January is the current range that we are trading in right now. In fact, it's perfectly trading within this range. Perfectly trading within this range to the exact high and to the exact low. And usually what will happen is if we're trading, you know, between two levels and then we lose the support, we'll come back in and start trading in the range that we were trading in before we broke above it and started to form a new range. So right now, our strongest resistance is going to be this $42,000 level. This is our strongest resistance right here. And then our strongest support is going to be down here at the $29,000 level. If we're coming down below this $29,000 level, that's where we really want to keep our eyes on the 26,000 and the 23,000, because these two levels are going to be our strongest supports where we can look for a really nice long position. If the bull market is going to continue, and here's the thing, we've closed below the 21 EMA on the weekly time frame. That's a very bearish sign. That's a very bearish sign. It doesn't mean that we're going to keep coming down, though. We could find our bottom in one of these places, okay? If we correct from 65,000 to 23,000, that is 65% correction. 65% correction. That's a massive correction. That could very well be putting in our bottom of this downtrend, and then what would happen is we might either consolidate here for some time, or we could start to come up from there. But either way, it's still a good place to look for a long position. So these levels right here, okay, the 23,000, 26,000, and then, right around 30K, these are the places where we really need to be keeping an eye out for a nice long, okay? And then as far as resistances go, obviously we're running into a resistance right now. We can see that this was back in January. This was a very key level of resistance as well, right? Once we came down from the all-time high, we had trouble breaking above this $38,000 level, so it makes sense that we're having trouble breaking above it right now. If we can come above the 38K level, then let's keep our eyes set on this 42K level. If we can come above 42K, that's a very bullish sign. If we can break above this resistance here, this is a very bullish sign that we in fact have put in the bottom right here. In fact, I would go as far as to say if we are confirming a daily candle above this level, then it means we have definitely put in our bottom right here, at least in the short term, right? Like we could come up here and still put in a lower high compared to this high and have a further correction from there. It's possible, but this would be the swing low if we come above this level here, and potentially it could be the low of the entire move downwards. Let me take a look here at the charts that I posted in the Discord, because I think this is important. This is important. So we have not been able to trade above this trend line right here since back on May 12th. And on the 2-hour time frame, May 12th, that's when we actually had a money flow crossover from the blue into the purple right here. And since then, we have been stuck below this trend line. The fact that we have broken above this trend line is actually, in my mind, it's a bullish sign. It's a bullish sign. The fact that we're seeing the money flow starting to cross over on the 2-hour is a bullish sign. We're printing the highest wave that we have printed on Market Cipher B on the 2-hour since all the way back here on May 12th. It's a sign that things are starting to move to the upside. On the 12-hour Market Cipher B, we can start to see that we've put in a bottom. Let's check that out on the 12-hour. If we go to the 12-hour, on Market Cipher B. And just take a look at what we're seeing here. We are seeing something that looks quite bullish, right? If we're looking at it objectively, we're seeing that we've put in a bottom and we're seeing upward direction on both sides of that bottom. On both sides of that bottom. We printed a green trigger wave on Market Cipher B on the 12-hour that doesn't have a big bottom dot under it, which is showing that, yeah, we're starting to come up a little bit. The VWAP right now is pointed up very much so on the 12-hour time frame. So to me, this is showing a sign of strength. This is showing a sign of strength. Go back to the 2-hour. This high wave here is this is good to see. This is actually good to see. Of course, we're getting the rejection off of this resistance right here. We're getting the rejection off that resistance. If we go to the 1-hour time frame, you know, it looks like we are about to print a red dot kind of soon up here. What I would really want to see in the short term is, you know, look at the 24-minute right now. The money flow is getting thicker. So what would be really nice to see is if we, let me put this trend line back on, if we get the 24-minute coming down and we get the retest of the 35,000 plus this trend line, and we're coming down and we're printing a green trigger wave somewhere in here like this, the VWAP's crossing over, the money flow is getting thicker, that would be a good place to look for a little long position. But as far as swing longs go, here are the places that I would really be keeping my eyes on. Let's get back to our daily time frame and let us refresh this. First place that I would really be looking for is this $26,000 level. Of course, hey, if we come back down to the lows here, right, 31, whoa, is Bitcoin printing the 1 hour red dot? Okay, here we go. 1 hour red dot up here. This is a pretty strong wave. I mean, we haven't really printed a wave that high since May 12th, right? Look at this, is coming above the 60 line right here, and that's a sign of strength. Remember, the RSIs and these momentum waves are a sign of strength, even though they're high, which means we need to cool off a little bit. It's showing that the Bitcoin price action is very strong. I would be really keeping my eye on this in the short term to see, is this a good place to be entering into a long position? You know, we've come up here to this resistance. We need to cool off a little bit. We're in between these two levels, these two important levels. If we look at money flow, even is about to cross over on the 1 hour. You know, if we can see Bitcoin consolidating here, coming down to retest this level, and we're printing some strong momentum, that's a good place to get into a nice long. Whoa, hang on, guys. Hang on. Sorry about that. Whoa, hang on. Sorry about that. I need to turn off my iMessage before I do these streams. Okay. Man, this is some juicy price action going on right now with Bitcoin. This is looking super nice. On the 24-minute. Let's come down to the 12-minute. I mean, this is looking pretty nice on the 12-minute as well. We can see just this clear direction to the upside. You know, if we can come down on the 12-minute and get something like this right here, like a wave right here on the 0 line, that would be just so nice. Okay, so let's zoom back out and get on the higher time frames, because remember, even though things are looking bullish on the lower time frames, you know, when we're on the daily, we can clearly see that we're up against resistance right here. We're up against resistance. We're getting a rejection. You know, this trend line here, we've come above it now, but we could very easily come back below it. And so if we do, what are some of the best swing long positions that I would look to get into? First of all, of course, these lows back down here. So we have 30,000, between 30,000 and you know, 31,000 and 30,000. So if we come back down to these areas, I would be looking for a swing long position. I would enter, you know, if we come down and get a reaction off of this general zone right here, okay? And I would just set my take profit all the way up and hold that trade for as long as I can. If we come down to the $29,000 level, I would put my stop loss. Honestly, I would put kind of a tight stop loss. What I would want to see is I would want to see us come down and lose the level, and then see it get bought up really quick, just like we did with these wicks here, right? That's what we want to see. We want to see us lose the support, and then we want to see us reclaim the support with momentum, like a massive buy up where people are just buying up that wick, and then we can have a stop loss that's very, very tight, right below the support. Maybe right here is like a 3% stop loss, and you would just set your take profits at these levels. Of course, the first one, it would always be 35, and then we would set it at 38, and then 42, and then 45, and then 48. These would be our take profit levels on the way up. And how you want to, what percentage you want to take out is completely up to you. The second level that I would really be looking for a nice juicy long is the $26,000 level. There's a lot of confluence at the $26,000 level. Not only is it the 618 of the entire run, but we can also see that it's a daily level, right? Over here, there is places where this is our resistance, it's our support again. And I don't know if you guys can see this over here, but it actually is, wow, there we go. What happened there? If we're looking at our volume, okay, right, I can't zoom in, I have to. If we're looking at our volume, there is a volume spike right in this general area where a lot of trading is happening. So I would be waiting for price to come down to that $26,000 level. In fact, I have been waiting for it to come down to that level to look for a long. And I would just basically do this, where we come down, we would want to see the same thing that we're always looking for when we're looking for bounces off of these levels. We want to see that level lost. We want to see price wick through it, wick below it, just like what we see when we're catching the bounces off of 35K. We want to see the wick below and then a quick buy up. So if we come down to the $26,000 level, we lose that with a massive dump, and then we see buy up really quick. You want to enter on the bounce on the way up. Of course, all hypothetical, right? Not financial advice in any way. We would want to enter in the bounce on the way up right here and just use the same take profits that we would use if we were longing from 30K. And then the same would be true for 23,000. 23,000, I think, is a great place to enter a really nice long, a really nice long. Right down here. And same deal, this is a high volume area. This is a daily level of support. Again, if we come all the way down to that $23,000 level, that would be a 65% correction. which is crazy. Previously in the previous bull markets, we've come down even more than 65%. But for right now, these are the supports that we need to be keeping our eyes on. These are the supports that we really need to be keeping our eyes on. And I will definitely be looking to long these because we will be able to catch a really good bounce. Here's the thing. Even if we come down lower, we need to realize what happens when we get these bounces. I mean, when we came down to bounce off this $35,000 level right here, and this is a long that we took last week. It was in in the Discord, right? Where did we take that? I think that was that Monday that we took that trade. Where was it? Yeah. Yep. Okay, so, I always approach these where I started off as a scalp trade when you're catching the bounce because you want to make sure that you're locking in profit. But if you take 40%, 50% of your position out of a scalp and then start to treat it like a swing, you can absolutely do that. So, when we get these bounces off of these levels, even if we come down further, like we did come down further, right, from this $35,000 level, but look at the bounce that we got. It was, a 20% move. That is a really massive move to have for Bitcoin. So don't, if you're looking to enter these, obviously we always have to keep in the back of our mind, this could be the bottom, right? This could be the bounce that shoots us off to Elon Musk's spaceship. But it could also just give us a really juicy, 20% move right there. Twice in a row, you could get a 20% move off of these bounces. And then right here, you come down again. And although we wicked all the way down to 31, when we come back up above this $35,000 level, we got a nice 10% move. So the way I would approach these longs is start them off as a shorter term trade. When you come up to take profit one, I like to take maybe anywhere, depending on the trade, I will take anywhere from 20 to 50% of the trade off the table. If you take 20% of the trade off the table right here and move your stop loss to the entry, I mean, it's a guaranteed winner. If you take, 20% at the next take profit, that's a really good trade depending on your, the position size. But I mean, 2 take profits here, that would be a 30% move, massive move. So even if we're coming down and we're maintaining the downtrend and we come up, you hit take profit 1, we hit take profit 2, and your stop loss is now to your entry. If 50% of your trade has been taken into profit, that's still a really nice trade. And then if we continue up, from there, then you can just let that ride, and it's either you're going to win a nice chunk or you're going to win an even nicer chunk. So those are really the 3 long positions that I would be looking for Bitcoin. I mean, because I wouldn't really, I don't like to long breakouts. So just because we're breaking this trend line doesn't mean I'd be looking for a long. The place I'd be looking for a long in the short term right here is, let's keep an eye on what's happening, right? We obviously need to cool off and consolidate a little bit. I would really be keeping an eye on this 24-minute chart, this 12-minute chart. To catch a nice long here. The 6-minute is looking a little bit nice, but we need to keep this in context with those higher time frames. We need to keep it in context with the higher time frames. In the 6-minute time frame, we're actually printing a lower money flow over time, and it's clear that we're coming up to this resistance, and we're printing lower highs up against this resistance. I would really want to see in a perfect trade setup, right? Because we broke out of this trendline resistance, I would want to see us come down and get a bounce off of either this trend line or back down to this $35,000 level. And if we go to the 4-hour time frame, yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough here. It looks like the 4-hour is starting to really cool off. You know, we could just continue upwards, though. That's important to remember. Let's go to the 3-hour. Let's go to the 2-hour. Wow, look at this, guys. Look at that. Look what's happening right now. 6 minutes giving us a nice trigger wave right here. Yeah, this red dot has not confirmed on the 1 hour either. So keep that in context. Okay, enough of this. Because let's talk about shorts. Where would we be looking for a short? Well, you know, I would the first place that I would be looking to short is the January all-time high, the high of the range. Right? If we've been trading in between 41.9 thousand and 29.8 thousand, then when we start to come up here, okay, and it doesn't have to be exactly 42,000, we could have, you know, our levels, you know, right here around 40.5, you know, because we do have the candle body closes here. But, you know, if we come back up and we're wicking against this 42,000 area, the first thing I would do is I would look for a short from there. And I would short us down from there. Obviously, we put the stop loss above, and we just take it back down to these levels here, right? Because this is just the range that we're trading in. So this would be a short I would look to take right here. This is a very, very strong resistance right up here at the $42,000 level. Even if we want to see what we would want to see again is we come up, we try and claim that level, we lose the level, we would enter when we fall below it, right? As we come up, we might get something like this and then come down. That's where we would look to enter that short right there. That's really the only real place I would be looking to enter a short right now. Because until we come above this level, then I don't really see any other good place to enter a short position. I guess you could say, you know, you could enter one right here at this resistance, but I wouldn't want to enter a short right now because right now we are showing signs of strength on these time frames. On the 24-minute time frame, you know, the money flow is looking nice. It's getting thick. The VWAP looks like we're going to print another wave a little bit higher up in here. That would be very bullish. And the 1 hour, I mean, look at the money flow on the 1 hour. I mean, this is looking quite nice on the 1 hour. We have money flow, and then we have a higher low on the money flow on the 1 hour. We have this really high momentum wave right here. And, you know, if this red dot does something similar to what this red dot did over here, you know, that could catapult us up to this $42,000 level. All right, so let's talk about Ethereum right now. And let's mark out some trades for Ethereum. Ethereum is also looking pretty nice. On the daily time frame, basically doing the same thing that Bitcoin is doing, right? We're coming up to a resistance, and these are the levels that I have marked out for Ethereum. Okay, let me actually pull up two Ethereum charts here side by side, because I have different levels marked on each. So Ethereum was forming on the 4-hour time frame. We can see it more clearly here. We were forming this falling wedge. We broke out of the wedge, and now we're hitting our resistance right here at this 24.58 level. Okay. Something important to notice for Ethereum is, we're trading over the 21 EMA on the 4-hour. We also formed this bullish divergence where the price was coming down and the momentum was coming up on the 4-hour. That's very bullish. On the daily time frame, it's looking like we're about to print a nice bottom on the daily time frame with money flow. Look at this. Money flow is coming up. The RSIs are very low. The VWAP is pointing up, and it looks like we're about to print a green dot right here. That to me is quite bullish. And if we just zoom out here, we can see that this trend line is a very important resistance. If we're able to break above this trend line and confirm above it, and this 2460, the 2460 level, then I believe that we're gonna come back and hit these resistances also. We have, so the levels I have are 24.58, and then I have 26.22, and then I have 29.29. And I have two Ethereum charts because I want to track. This right here is just support and resistance levels that I drew with my eye, and then this chart over here is using those fib extension levels that I have been trading Ethereum with for quite some time. And it's just so interesting to see how these levels are respected even in the midst of the dump. So for Ethereum, obviously, if we can, this is the range for Ethereum that we've been trading in. 29.21 has been the high, and then right here at around 19.25 has been the low. So if we can come back down and test this area, this is always a great place to long Ethereum. You could have longed it right here for a massive move, longed it again right here for the move that we're currently having. These are the places that you really want to keep an eye on. Down here at 1929. If we come down 1929, that would be a great place for a really juicy long, and this time I think it would be legit, meaning like I think we could put in the bottom right there. If we lose the level and then we wick back up above it again like this, come down a little bit lower than we did before, and we get the bounce, and if we're still printing the bullish divergence on the 4-minute time frame, and we see that coming down, losing these supports, and then a massive buy up right there, I would enter a long position there, and it would, when we reclaim the support, I would enter right here. I would set my take profits, really to the all-time high, because there's no reason not to. You put your stop loss below the support, and you just ride it up. The first take profit would be right around where we're at now, and then the second take profit would be 24.54, and then you just do the fib extension levels. Take profit at 27.21, take profit at 29.29, 32.12, 35.70, 39.69, and then this final fib extension that we never actually hit, 45.18, would be the final take profit. Now Ethereum is really, on the daily time frame, is looking quite bullish, quite bullish. If we can get a green dot to print on the daily time frame, to me that would be very bullish. I mean, look at the money flow. The money flow is starting to get thicker here. I think Ethereum had a very well needed correction. If this was on a lower time frame, this looks like a nice healthy correction in my mind. I mean, we came down and we tested, these support levels, and this is the such a strong support right down here. This pink line at 1775. That's like the highest volume node that Ethereum traded at for pretty much all this price action that we see on the screen right now. There's more buying and selling happening at 1775 than any other price. And this is giving us some really good opportunities to long Ethereum. And let me pull up in the Discord as well the Ethereum chart that I put in here. So, this is basically everything I just went over, right? We have our levels clearly defined. We have the places where we're going to be looking to short. We have the places where we are going to be looking to long. Shorting Ethereum, where would I look to short it? I would look to short it if we come above this resistance right here. I'd be looking to short 27.29. I would especially be looking to short. Let's go to the 4 hours. I mean, on the daily time frame, if we come up here to 27.21, what a great short opportunity that would be, because we're coming to the 55 EMA, which in a downtrend, a lot of times we'll reject off of that. If we come up to 29.29, that's the 21 EMA. Great place to look for a short right there. Awesome. I mean, perfect. How could you not take those shorts? We're coming up to massive resistance. It's so easy. You put your stop loss there and you just take profit along the way down. Then you do the same thing at that next level right there. Those would be the two places I would look to short. I would look to short Ethereum at 29.29 and 27.29. And then I would look to really long down here between 1939 and 1775. But we shall see what happens. We shall see what happens. We're in a downtrend on all the highest time frames, right? I mean, this is a downtrend. Even though we have this blue weekly candle, we really, in order for it to turn into an uptrend, we have to come in and claim this high here on the weekly. On the daily, we're just putting in, the lower highs, lower high, lower high. On the daily time frame, we have to come above 29.23, this level right here, in order for this to now turn into an uptrend. So until we come above this resistance right here, we are still in a downtrend, which is why the trend is your friend. If we come up to these levels, you look for the short. If we come down to these levels, you look for the bounce. You look for the bounce. And really for Ethereum, it's important to keep our eyes on these. 1562 would give us a nice bounce, as well as this down here at 1300. 1300 would give us a nice bounce too. If we come below the 1784 level, I would look for a bounce right here at 1562, and I would look for a bounce right here at about 1300, because we can see these are the next important levels of support. Okay, those are the next important levels of support. And that's just how I plan to trade both of these assets, Ethereum and Bitcoin. I'm going to take it level to level. I'm going to short the resistances, long the supports. Currently, I happen to be long on Bitcoin because I had a buy order set down at those lows, and it got triggered over the weekend. And I already took 50% out of the trade right here. So this is half the trade I originally entered, just letting it ride here. I'm still in my shorts for Bitcoin and Ethereum, also letting those ride. My swing trades right now are still both short. My swing trades are still both short. And then on my technically my scalping account, or my shorter term day trading account, I'm long on Bitcoin, and I didn't have any buy orders set on Ethereum. So unfortunately, I didn't get to capitalize on this nice move that we had here, because I took 2 days off, 2 days off trading. And if you're not in a position right now, the best advice I can give to you is just to be patient and wait for that perfect setup. Wait for one of these setups to take place for these longer term trades. And if we are look at Bitcoin right now, is getting the rejection. Let's check it out. Patience is key. It really is all about just coming up with a plan, marking your levels, and then trading your plan. If you do that, I guarantee that even if your TA isn't perfect, you will still be more successful than somebody who's just FOMOing in and out of positions. Because objectively, if we're looking at a chart, and let's say that we're not using all the tools that are available to us, but we're still just using support and resistance levels that we're drawing by hand, doing our top-down analysis, you're probably going to be close enough to enter a good trade, right? You're going to be close enough to enter a good trade. Like for me, a good example of that is I wanted to long 35, right? I wanted to long 35. I was waiting for us to come down to 35. I think right here, on Friday. I was waiting for us to come down to 35 so I could look for a long position. We came down much lower than 35. We came down to 33.4. But even still, if you had just stuck to the plan of longing 35, even though you didn't get the best move possible, you still ended up with a nice 10% move right there. So even if you're not using all the tools that are possibly available to you, getting the most perfect, longing the exact bottom and shorting the exact top, you're still going to be able to do good enough technical analysis, just drawing levels of support resistance by hand to long the bottom area and short the top area, right? I mean, this January all-time high is super respected here, but I had highs, put at lower levels, and I was waiting for shorts at lower levels, and ended up still shorting, not getting the full move, but still a substantial move. So if you have a plan and you're sticking to your plan, you're going to do pretty well. You are going to do pretty well. And so right now, as far as Bitcoin and Ethereum goes, we really need to, for the shorter term, if you're looking for like a day trade, either, really, if you're, this is, we're clearly, getting the rejection off of this support here in the short term. Just short the resistances, long the supports. Short the resistances, long the supports. All right, let me pop into the chat and see if we have any questions in here. Shalom, Ramon. Ken Hakol Beseder. Hakol Beseder Etcha. Okay, this is a great question. Lars Torrizzi says, if you long 35, wouldn't you be stopped out using a decent stop loss? Yeah, that's why we would want to wait until we lose the level and then regain the level. So you're not going to long 35 on the way down. Okay, you're not going to long 35 on the way down. You're going to long 35 on the way up. That's how you're going to catch the bounce. What you want to see, if we're going to lose, if you're going to long a support, we want to see price come down to the support like this, drop below it, and then we want to see a massive buy up happening, right? We want to see this get bought up. We want to see a wick here, and then we enter the position on the way up, right? We would enter our long as we're coming above that support. And really what works best is if you're combining this with Market Cipher B to see that we are indeed reclaiming that resistance as support. So, you know, price is coming down and your long doesn't get triggered until we start to come up. That's when your long gets triggered. So coming back into this here, you know, well, this one was a little bit risky. This one was a little bit risky. Let's see if we have another one like this one right here. Okay. This trade right here, okay, we're actually, no, that's the same trade. Sorry, let me see. I know that there were other longs that we took. Yeah, the one from Friday. That one was pretty messed up, the way I entered it. Okay, so this one right here. We lost 35, and then we get the massive wick to the upside on the hourly, right? You see how we lost it with this blue candle. We lost that level. And then you don't enter the long until we come back up, and that's where you would enter. Let's take a look at that on a lower time frame. So this is the 4 hour right here. This is where we entered the trade. So let's go down to maybe the 30-minute. Okay. Yeah, even on the 30-minute, like we lose the level, and then this wick gets eaten up real quick. Even on the 12-minute, like this is exactly what you would want to see. This is exactly what you would want to see right here, guys. You want to see us lose the level, and then you want to see massive buy up with a wick, okay? That's how you know we're getting the bounce. And also, you want to make sure that Market Cipher B is showing us that we're printing some kind of a bottom, right? If we're printing some kind of a bottom on Market Cipher B and we're getting a reaction like that off of a level, you enter the trade on the way up. Let's come down even lower, like to the 3-minute time frame. Because usually when this is happening, I'm looking at the 3-minute, the 1-minute time frame. Look at what's happened here. I mean, this is just this is perfect what you would want to see. Where even on the 3-minute time frame, we get this wick, we get this massive wick, and on the 3-minute time frame, you can see that we're getting a you know, a divergence, right? As price is coming down, we are getting a divergence. It's not so clear right here, but if you're seeing signs like that, right? You see, okay, I see that the price is coming lower and momentum is getting higher, and then you see we lose the level with this massive 3-minute, you know, we're just dropping like a rock right here below that support, and then you start to see we wick up real fast. That's where you want to enter that trade on the way up. And the same is true for resistances. You want to see us, when it comes to the resistances, you want to see something like this, right, where we try to take that level, but then we come back down. So if you're looking at a resistance and you see that we're coming up to it, it looks like we're going to break out, and then we print a lower high and a lower high and a lower high, you could expect us to come down. So currently, right now, what's happening, right? We came up above the resistance, the lower high, and now we're coming down, because that's what you're going to look for at the resistance, right? We were unable to claim the level. It's called the swing failure pattern, because we have the swing high, we're printing higher highs, and then all of a sudden we start printing lower highs, you know, at a resistance. That's a great place to enter a short scalp, or even a swing short. Those are the things you're going to be looking for at supports and resistances. And, you know, if we're using Market Cipher for confluence, so like, you know, the 3-minute Market Cipher is showing us, yeah, downward movement. This red dot right here, as we're unable to claim this resistance, is taking us down. It's taking us down. But we need to keep this in context with the higher time frames as well, right? I mean, it's clear that, you know, on the 1 hour time frame, we've still got some nice high momentum here. So there's the potentiality, is that a word? There's the potential that, you know, once we come up and keep this momentum going, we could continue on upwards. We very well could. Okay, let me see if there's any more questions here. Mike H, what is your best tip for us for trading? Okay, first of all, Mike Sal, yeah, I like CryptoVac A for support and resistance. I think CryptoVac A, if you're using it, it's a great tool for confluence for your support and resistance lines. You know, if I go ahead and turn that thing on right now, you know, it's giving us some support and resistance areas. So you might, you know, want to, if you were shorting this right now, you know, you might want to set one of your take profits at this level. It will give you other levels that you may have missed. And a lot of times you'll find that there's a lot of confluence with the levels that you actually did draw. So, you know, right now this high that I have here lines up pretty well with the CryptoVac high. Same with this green line lines up very well with this yellow line. I enjoy CryptoVac A very much so. I think you know, if you're using it on the lower time frames, these diamonds will kind of tell you, you know, when they confirm, when the green diamond confirms, you know, it's saying we're going to get some kind of move to the upside, right? How substantial that move is really depends. But this, you know, so the best tip I could give for trading is do your technical analysis and then come up with a plan and then stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. Like if you don't have a plan for shorting this, then don't short this. If you only have a plan for longing when we come down to this, then only look for longs when we come down to this. And you know, make sure that you have your confirmations. Like if you were thinking to yourself, you know, hey, I'm only going to long this if I see that Market Cipher is printing a bottom when we come down here, then don't long it if Market Cipher is not printing the bottom. That's the best tip I can give for trading is come up with a plan and then stick to your plan. Come up with a plan and then stick to your plan. Correct, Lars, or Lar Storizi. You are correct when you say that you need to sit there and wait, and there's nothing you can put on before it happens. Yes, that's true. Sometimes I will set buy orders in Bybit, and I will make sure that, you know, I have a stop loss set, and sometimes I'll do that just by using leverage, where my liquidation price would be my stop loss price. But yeah, you know, it's all about being patient. So set your alerts, and a lot of times I will wake up in the middle of the night to enter a trade because I have my alerts set, you know. Am I in a long now? I am currently in a long. I'm in a Bitcoin long. This long was a buy order that I had set in Bybit. A lot of times I will set orders at supports, and that's risky. It's risky to do that, but I will do it, especially if I know I'm not going to be trading, because I have good risk management. I'm not risking more than I'm willing to lose. This was a $32,000 entry on the dot, on the exact dot, 32,000. I'm long right now. I'm long and short. I'm long and short at the same time. PR says, Jason, what time frame should we follow confirmation of trend change upward or downward? That's a great question. So when it comes to what time frame you're going to follow for trend change, personally, this is actually a nice rejection right here. You know, it's a shame I wasn't watching this too much. I like to use lower time frames because a lot of times if we're looking for trend change, we want to start looking on those lower time frames because that's where we're really going to see it. If you see that Market Cipher, for example, on the 24-minute time frame is giving you the divergence, the bullish divergence as price is getting lower, right? And we're coming down to a support level, then you would use that lower time frame to determine the change of the trend if you're day trading, scalp trading. But if you're on the daily time frame and you're looking just for overall trend reversal, like how can we tell if we're putting in the bottom on the daily time frame? It can be hard to do, but the signs that we want to look for is, first of all, are we coming down to a level of support? Okay, that's the first thing we want to look at. Like right now, we were coming down to this $35,000 level of support. We've been unable to lose this support for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. Okay, almost a week. This has been our support. And and you want to combine that with what Market Cipher B is telling us. So right now, Market Cipher is telling us we've printed a bottom, and we're coming down to a support that we've been holding for almost a week. These are all signals of trend reversal, and then really you just have to stack the probabilities in your favor, right? You have to stack the probabilities in your favor, and say, okay, we're at a support. Market Cipher is giving me a bottom. This is a sign that we are going to reverse. How far, though? That's the question, and we don't know. And that's why you have to set your take profits. We can know that we're going to get a bounce off of a certain level, but we cannot know how substantial that bounce is. And that's why it's important to lock in your profits, to lock in the profits. Take profit while in profit. Some interesting things forming here on the Bitcoin chart. How do you find CryptoVac A? You have to join the Super Kitty Discord. Join the Super Kitty Discord right here. And let's see. Join Super Kitty's Discord, hit her up, and say that Jason Casper sent you. And she'll give you a free trial. It's a free trial. Okay. Robert Hom says, "What's your best advice for catching the knife?" Lewis is first here. Hey man, I've been projecting future zones where price will visit, and so far every one of my projections has been hit. I went from losing almost every trade to being up hundreds of percent. That's awesome, Lewis. Congratulations, man. Robert, so the best advice for catching the knife is marking your levels and then looking for that reaction, right? The chicken drinking water reaction where we lose the level. We lose the level and then it is bought up with a massive wick. We lose the level and then bought up with a massive wick. So, a great example of this was back on Friday, right? Where we lost the support of 35K. We lost the support. And Robert, I got your email too, man, and I haven't had a chance to respond, and I apologize. I'll try and get to that today. So right here, this is what we want to see to catch the knife. We want to see us lose the level with a massive drop, okay? Like just fall through it like butter, right? And then see this wick. I mean, this is the 3-minute time frame. If you are seeing this on the 3-minute time frame after a loss of support, and think of how drastic this is in the moment, right? In the moment, we're dropping down. We have these small candles. We come up a little bit. Have these small little candles come up a little bit. you know, and then all of a sudden we lose the support. We have this massive 3-minute candle just zoom, it's taking us down in a very short period of time. After we lose that support, we're dropping down 4%, and in the moment, this blue wick candle is a giant purple candle coming all the way down, and people are like, dang, we just fell through that support, you know, where's the next support? And then all of a sudden, you see this massive buy up on the 3-minute time frame where this wick comes in. That's how you catch the falling knife. And then you don't just catch it when we get the wick, although you can. To be honest with you, I would try and catch this. I actually think I got into this long somewhere in here, because really this is what you're looking for. But if you want to be more conservative, then you just wait, and as we're coming up above the resistance, that's where you enter. That's where you enter, because it's confirming now. Nope, we're not going to come below here. You know, we're not going to lose that support. We're going to reclaim it. And so it's the reclaimed support as resistance. That's how you catch the falling knife. Shout out to Arden Sawyers. I'm glad that helped you out. Yeah, the CryptoVac indicator Jack Pim is a paid indicator. You have to hit up Super Kitty for that. She created that, her and her son. Can I export the fibs that I share? I can look into that. I didn't know that was a possibility, Lewis. Patrick asked, do I ever use Market Cipher SR to find support and resistance? I do not. I don't really like it, to be honest with you. I do use the VWAP on Market Cipher SR. I do record this and put it out there, 9finger70, absolutely. It will be in the Discord. D. Paulo Anthony asked, do I prefer longing from bounces rather than breakouts? Yes, I do. I think it's much easier. I think it's much easier to long a bounce than it is to long a breakout. Here's why. Like, you know, we just had a breakout today. I mean, like right here, this breakout would have been very difficult to long, because we come up and it's very deceptive, right? We're consolidating right above this trend line right here, and then we lose the level, and then we break out. You know, to be honest with you, I probably would have missed this breakout, right? I would have missed this breakout. And then up here, look, it looks like we're breaking out of this resistance, but then we come back down, and now we're dropping below it, printing lower highs and lower lows. For me, it's so much easier, and there's so many more signs to long a bounce than to long a breakout. That's just me. The only time I will long a breakout is if I can see that we're coming up to the resistance, and the higher time frames of Market Cipher are showing that we're really going to break out of there. Like, we're really going to break out of there. Like right here, potentially you could say the 4-hour was giving us that momentum, but you know, the 4-hour was giving us momentum right here, and we couldn't break that trend line. The 4-hour was giving us momentum here. We come up, you know, we couldn't break that trend line. It's just riskier to me to try and trade breakouts. It's riskier in my mind. You know, everybody has a different style of trading, and you know, I know some people who love to trade the breakout. You guys know what I'm saying? So, you know, everyone has a different style. How do I set alerts in TradingView that make a sound? You're going to go to TradingView. You're going to right-click whatever you want to set the alert on, add the alert, and then you're going to do more actions and checkbox play sound. That's how. Simple as that. Do I set buy orders for every major support? I don't always, but sometimes, like, if I know, like, I don't trade over the weekends, and so I will set up some buy orders just in case, you know. And sometimes they work out pretty well, and sometimes they get liquidated. Okay, DJ says, can you further explain what you mean by setting the leverage so that your liquidation price is your stop loss? Sure. So if I am entering a trade, let's say I want to enter a trade with 100 contracts. I put 100 contracts on a trade. Because it's difficult to set a conditional order with a stop loss, in Bybit, what you'll do is instead of entering that position with 1x leverage and setting your stop loss where you would want your stop loss to be, let's say you want a 5% stop loss, what you would do is you would up the leverage so that your liquidation price would be at 5%, negative 5%. Because you can up the leverage and enter a trade with only $100, right? Leverage, it only allows you to put more on the trade, right? It doesn't, if you have 100x leverage and you're putting $100 on the trade, you're only risking, you can have your liquidation price be to the point where you're only risking 5% of your $100. Because if you're 100x leveraging, how much are you actually putting on that trade of your own capital? Very, very little. You're putting very, very little of your account on that trade with 100x leverage, and I hope that makes sense. In the course, I go into it more, bro. So for a long on Bybit, do you put the exact price of support or a little bit above? I like a little bit above. I like to do it a little bit above, but I'll be honest with you guys. Like sometimes I get a little bit riskier. Okay, in my current trading state here, I am riskier than I used to be totally honest with you guys. And the reason for that is because I don't recommend it, but if I see something that I think looks super bullish, I'll kind of go for it. Like this trade right here. I was planning to long at 35. I longed at 34. Reason is because I saw what was happening, and I'm like, this looks super bullish to me. This looks super bullish to me. But you would enter a little bit above, a little bit above. I'm not much of a breakout trader, but this is looking quite bullish, is it not? Man, I would want to watch this develop. Really, the trade I would be really looking for right now is a short from here. And if we reclaim this, guys, that is very bullish. If we reclaim that, that is extremely bullish. Right? Okay, let me see if I have any more questions in here. No word from Carl, Greg. Yeah, I post them 9 fingers in the Discord and on Patreon. Yeah, you got to risk it for the biscuit. That's true. Robert Hamd, click this link, bro. This will invite you to Super Kitty's Discord. Then contact her or contact Shellfish in the Discord. Tell them that Jason Casper sent you. And they'll hook you up with a free trial. What's up, y'all? Crypto B Willie. Weiss Advice says, if the breakout from the trend doesn't get the retest and it looks like we're breaking through the 38K resistance, what signs are we looking for to confirm upward momentum? That's a good question. That is a good question, and it can be tough to do, which is why I'm not a fan of longing the breakout. But we want to see. Personally, I would want to see on the 1 minute time frame. I would want to see that we're getting a money flow crossover from the red into the green. I would want to see on the 1 hour time frame. I wouldn't want to see this red dot printing. That's for sure. I wouldn't want to see this red dot printing. I would want to see a green dot printing. I would want to see is money flow crossing over on these the 1 hour. That's what I would really want to see. Be looking at your time frames. Like you could say that this is very bullish on the 45 minute, right, where we just got the money flow crossing over and we have very high momentum and we see this very clear direction here. So if we come down on the 45 and we're getting now a high wave and the money flow is getting thicker, that's where I would look to long the break. But a lot of times I think it can be better to wait for a short than to try and long the breakout, because really longing breakouts is technically buying high. It's technically buying high, and we don't want to buy high. We want to sell high. But you just want to make sure that Market Cipher is really giving you that confirmation. I mean, you could do like the 4-hour, 24-minute strategy. You could do the 50-minute, 5-minute strategy, which in this case wouldn't really work too well, because the 50-minute strategy, you're waiting for that green dot to print below the zero line. But you know, for shorting, you know, you want to see, you know, right now, if we were using the 5-minute, 50-minute strategy, there's not a long or short here. DePaulo Anthony, how can you get the risk to reward Excel file from the trading course? Go to CryptoKite, his YouTube channel, and you can download it there. But it also should be downloadable in the course on the website. All right, guys. Appreciate you for being here. I'm going to cut the stream right now. But, you know, if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the Discord, in the VIP live stream section. Lewis, yes, you ignore the money flow in catching the knife. You ignore the money flow in catching the knife. Absolutely. 9finger70, there is in the course, there is a video that goes over that strategy in detail. Yeah, so Lewis, when you're catching the knife, if you're trying to catch the knife, the reason you ignore the money flow is because, you know, the money flow hasn't had time to show upward direction. So what we're really looking for is we're looking for the loss of the level, the reclaim of that level, and you know, Market Cipher B on the lower time frames. On the lower time frames, yes, pretty much the money flow is always going to be in red if you're catching the bounce. Okay, that's just the way it's going to be. So we look for other things. We look for other things other than the money flow for catching the bounce. If we're just trading, you know, ranges or an uptrend, different story. But if we're dropping like a rock, we're going to be looking for other things other than the money flow, right? What are we going to look for? Well, oh, nice. Ethereum, I think, is printing a green dot in the 1 hour. Is Bitcoin too? We're going to look for the divergences forming. We're going to look for a bottom printing. Let me check this out, guys. What is going on here? I don't see a green dot printing for Ethereum, or, oh, maybe it was a red dot or something like that. Ethereum is looking nice. Look at this, guys. Let's go to the 24-minute. Looking nice. 12-minute. Just printed this here. Just printed this right here. Clear direction. Clear direction. Let's go to the 3-minute. We just got a money flow crossover on the 3-minute as well. Looking pretty nice. We have this red dot confirmed on the 1 hour though. And we need to keep in mind that when the red dot confirms on the 1 hour, when it's this high, you know, it is risky. But you could say that right here, we got the red dot, then we immediately, as we're printing the red dot, right, we get this blue candle and we shoot up. So, yeah, breakouts can be tricky. They can. All right, guys, I'm going to cut the stream here. Appreciate all of you guys for being here. God bless you all. And I'll see you guys in the next one. BitBoy just tweeted that the bull run is over. Cool. Cool. All right. God bless y'all.